Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Wednesday, the 7th of April, comes to you from London. And quite a lot of red on the screen. So we take a look at first of all currencies. Dollar index is where I normally start. This is my weekly, my daily, and my 60-minute chart with the corresponding point and figure charts, long term, medium term, and short term. These are log scale 1%, half a log scale, half a percent, and the 60-minute chart 0.1%. So this gives me an overview, and you can click on anything. So for example, if I want a quick view of Apple or Amazon, here's Amazon long term, and we're bullish above the cloud on all three time frames, just back above the cloud. So it allows me to see the picture generally. A lot of people say, can you cover this? Can you cover that? You can look at these charts on any instrument of your choice, and you'll find these screens in our desktop libraries. So in the layout libraries here. So we start by looking at the dollar index, and we're bullish above the cloud on the medium term chart, but short term we are just seeing some bearishness, but we still do have these upside targets on the short term. Looking at the euro, that means the euro is looking stronger against that weaker dollar, but the medium term trend is bearish, and the long term trend on the weekly chart, we see that breaking down. So we're not yet below the cloud, but we have broken on the daily. So euro weakness is very much a theme in the weeks and months ahead. The Japanese yen, we're below the 110 level, but the dollar has had a very strong appreciation against the yen in recent weeks. And if we look at sterling, we're sitting just below 138, just looking a little bit weaker against the dollar at the moment. And against the euro, much the same picture, back to 116.20. We were at 118 a couple of days ago, so we're just seeing sterling just selling off there. Looking at the Bitcoin price, we're at 57,600, looking bullish on the medium and long-term charts. Just short-term, a little bit of bearishness creeping in there. If we look at the S&P 500 index, we were down very slightly overnight, but bullish on all three time frames. Market continues to move higher. We've got targets as high as 22%, so equity's not showing any real signs, and we've got short-term targets 2 and 9% higher. So market's looking strong again, especially on the S&P 500. The Nasdaq is just struggling to make new highs. It is bullish on all three time frames, but we are just struggling to break to new highs. So that's quite key. Looking at the futures today, not much change. The S&P future up 0.1%, the Nasdaq up 0.2%, just suggests that the market will open higher in the US, but only slightly higher. And the VIX volatility is below 18. This is the lowest level really we've seen on the VIX for several months. So we haven't been really this low since February last year. So this is the lowest level we've seen since the jump in the coronavirus crisis. So markets really settling down. Looking at the FTSE future, we're up just under 1%. The DAX in Germany, little change. The CAC 40 up 0.3%. Just nudging new all-time highs there. The DAX did that some time ago. Japan was up 0.5%. And the Hang Seng was down 1%. So we're just seeing a bit of a mixed picture in Asia. Shanghai, not much change. India up nearly 1%. Still looking great long-term, medium-term bullish, and the short-term chart returning to bullish. A lot of mixed targets there on the short-term chart, but the upside should prevail. We've got one massive target on the 1% chart. The Aussie market up 0.6%, still not making new all-time highs like many other markets, but not much work to do now to do that. A target 18% higher there. We'll take a look at the energy mix in a minute, but looking at gold, we're sitting at 1736, looking much happier than it was, short-term bullish. And we should get a new target off this thrust as well. But this support level is now critical if we don't activate that downside target. Silver sitting at $25. And if we look at US 10-year yields sitting way back at 1.64%, so a really big move down there. But the medium and long-term trend still bullish. and a big upside target some to 3.3%. Looking at the 30-year bond yield in the US, that's sinking lower as well. No big surprises there. We did have a quick look at tech. Apple, it's looking still a lot of these tech stocks just not managing to make new highs. So that's quite an interesting phenomenon. We're seeing this rotation going on in the market. Amazon again, ever since September last year, has not managed to make a new high. But if we do see a kick up, this will be a continuation leg, and it'll go for the next big target. So we just need to keep an eye on that, because we do have downside targets as well. So that's going to be quite key. Google, again, has actually looked pretty strong, bullish in all three time frames. One of the better looking charts. If we look at Microsoft, up 0.5% there as well. Taking a look at the energy mix now, Brent crude is up slightly, but really is stuck in this range, 61, 65. That's the range. We are just seeing signs of potential head and shoulders here, downside, and we know that seasonally crude oil doesn't perform so well in the second half of the year. We do have a target some 4% lower on the short term 1 minute chart. This is my daily and my 60-minute chart with the corresponding point and figure targets. Brent crude, WTI 57 is the level there that we have to watch. US nat gas sitting at 248. It's in the doldrums. Targets to 242, 245. So pushing lower all the time. Coal sitting at 72.80, on the verge of breaking out. We need to break that 73 level convincingly, but we've got good upside targets. Looks like coal will do that. Emissions are down this morning, but again, the chart for carbon emissions is just stellar. And if we look at gas prices, we're seeing a fall off now. Cold weather started gas prices off well yesterday, but we are just seeing now gas prices coming back. TTF down 1.5%. Just this 19 level, holding that is pretty key. That has been resistance for some time. And looking at German power, we're down 0.6% here, but we have reached those upside targets. No real new targets on the 1 minute to play for. We are seeing these targets nearly reached. We have got longer term upside targets, but the power price looks pretty good there. The one standout yesterday on our report to clients was Nordic power prices. And we still do have downside targets hanging over us there. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.